5 defeats in a row, no goals in those 5 games. European football slipping away. The pressure has ramped up even more on the Chelsea boss, Liam Rosenior. As you can see, our chief correspondent, Carve Solcott, has joined us for some huge breaking news, Carve.
Yeah, I can tell you now that Liam Rosenior has left Chelsea. Chelsea have decided to make a change. He's leaving the club today. He's been told that he's no longer Chelsea head coach, even though back in January he signed a contract until 2032. Last night, the performance and the result was the final straw. The Chelsea sporting leadership team felt that they just had to make a change to try and salvage something from this season. In the short term, Callum McFarland is going to become the interim head coach again. You remember earlier this year when Enzo Maresca decided to leave Chelsea, Callum McFarland, who was the former under-21 coach, became the interim head coach. He was in charge for a very credible 1-1 draw, I think it was, away at Manchester City. Then he was in charge for the game that they lost at Fulham. He will be in charge between now and the end of the season. So he'll be in the dugout at Wembley on Sunday for this huge game against Leeds United and also for the other Premier League games until the end of the season. I'm being told that at the end of this season, Chelsea will appoint a permanent new head coach. They don't have a shortlist at the moment. They have not spoken to anybody about who that could be. But obviously, there are some big name experienced managers who are going to be available. One final thing I would say to you is sometimes people will think Liam had a contract until 2032. He's only been there for, what, 4 or 5 months. Does that mean Chelsea have to pay him up for the rest of his contract? I've seen reports that it could be 20-25 million pounds. That is not the case. I haven't seen his contract, but I know for a fact every contract at that kind of level would have a break clause in it. So I think what's going to happen is they're going to come to a resolution that is fair for Chelsea, but it's also fair for Liam Rosenior, even though he's lost his job.
It's huge. This is huge, Jimmy. I can see by your face you're shocked by this. You didn't expect him to go, did you?
I am shocked. I didn't expect it to happen this soon. I know that he was under pressure because, look, Chelsea is a big club.
Yeah.
They expect to win. It hasn't happened before, or it hasn't happened that long or long ago that they haven't scored this minimum goals.
Yeah. 5 games, they've not scored a goal.
5 games, yeah. So the stats are not in his favour, but then still, because he's been not that long at Chelsea, I would have thought that they would give him a little bit more time. They've got lots of injuries. The game against Man United, they were a little bit unlucky. They played really well. So yeah, I am a little bit surprised. But then on the other hand, I'm not, because it's football, it's results. The shirt is heavy,
yeah.
You know. The supporters are used to winning a lot of trophies, used to see the team competing week in, week out. And the game of yesterday was poor. And that's why you could see him saying what he said. He acknowledged that. But then still, I thought he would get at least the Leeds game on Sunday. But look, they have to do what they have to do. And yeah.
It's interesting, we're seeing Cucurella, we're seeing Enzo Fernandez, you know, looking at, there we are, what we saw last night. These players haven't helped the cause, have they? Did he lose the dressing room, in your opinion, Jimmy?
That's always been asked, you know, when a manager goes, did he lose the dressing room? Look, players have to take credibility, sorry, they have to take responsibility here. And you never play, really. I don't like the saying, players are playing for the managers. No, you're playing for yourself and your teammates and the club. You know, that's who you're playing for. That's your profession. Your profession is to give everything you've got and make sure that you have left everything on the pitch. It didn't look like that. So
they were also publicly coming out and saying, you know, that they actually kind of almost preferred Enzo Maresca, and they felt that the club had made a mistake. That's been a public announcement from some of the players recently.
Yeah, but you're always going to have that. You're always going to have players that when a manager goes, that they're sad because some of them they really like Enzo. And what happened with Enzo was actually not really expected at all. You know, it just came to a little disagreement, and that exploded, and he left. Nobody expected that. His results were actually not that bad. But this, you know, yesterday, it just didn't look good. It just didn't taste good. And he felt that. So that's why he came out with however he came out. But where do we go from here? You know?
Well, that's the question.
That for me is what's the plan? You know, how do we get them to play really well again and compete? Because Sunday is right around the corner and very, very important for those players, but also for the club and for the fans.
Well, as Carvey was saying, Callum McFarlane will take charge for that match. But look, Carvey, how much will the hierarchy be to blame for this? Because if we look at the managers that have been there since then, you know, it's Pochettino, Tuchel, Lampard, Potter, Maresca, Rosenior. That's a lot of managers for a club.
Look, I think they'd hold up their hands and say, look, we've got it wrong. And we definitely got it wrong